Welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next. If you're not too careful, you just might learn something. Hi there, and welcome to MacGyver's Workshop, where you never know what we're going to be working on next, and if you're not too careful, you just might learn something. As you can see, I'm not alone today. I have a very special visitor, and we will call him
Tim.
A good friend of mine I run up on. I mentioned him previously in a video. He has some parts for the old Blue project and was in town and popped by, and we've been standing here shooting the crap for about 30 minutes, and just wanted to introduce and stay tuned, man. They've got some really good stuff going. You got some good stuff in the works.
Yes, sir, Mike. Thank you. Glad to be here. We've got a television show coming up called Russ Saver's Garage, and it's about restorable classics. And if you can't afford the high dollar, $60, $100 an hour classic cars, we're going to take you on the road to affordable classic cars.
Yeah.
And where a man can get some enjoyment out of
Exactly.
the average everyday classic car that's been restored or unrestored.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of almost similar to what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
In a roundabout way, because it's not like a 60s muscle car. It's not a Vet. It's not a Camaro. It's an 82 Ford pickup. Whoopee, right? But yeah, and it's just as much fun restoring that, and more fun than I thought it would be. But
well, plus it's something that you don't have to be afraid of when you go out, and you can enjoy it. If somebody opens up the door on it and at the shopping center, whatever,
you're going to be bummed.
But hey, not going to be too paranoid that you got $200,000 in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get it out and enjoy it.
Yeah, and that stuff's all relative. It's always going to be. They're always going to be money pits, but they're fun money pits. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
So,
and like our main focus on the show is, why have something sitting in your garage for 20 years that you procrastinate about, and you can say, one day I'll get to that. Throw that thing back together, get out and have fun with it on the weekends.
Exactly.
In the shape it's in. Of course, make it safe, make it roadworthy.
Yep.
Put a nice set of wheels and tires and run.
Have fun with it, and that's there's so many perspectives that you can have on it. Like this one, we're doing a Restomod. We're souping the engine up. We're changing it over to have air conditioning. We're doing all kind of crazy stuff with it, But yeah, you find you an old beater and throw it together, make it safe, and go with it, and just have fun. It's like up here at Motorsports Park. They call it King of the Heat,
Right.
and I think they have like $1,000 or $1,500 limit and a $500 claim. I think it is on your car, so it keeps people honest.
That's
and
fun.
The people go in there and they have fun.
See, that's what it's all about. It's about having fun, enjoying yourself. Life is too short, and if anything, 2020 has shown us life is definitely too short this year.
No kidding. Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited to see it when it comes on, when the show comes online.
Yes, sir.
And,
absolutely.
Always be happy to collaborate if you have a project or something. But
Be looking for this guy on Russ Saver's Garage soon. So it's going to be a guest star on Russ Saver's Garage.
be looking for this guy. You're going to be like Pawn Stars. Well, I know this guy. He can do this, and yeah.
I'm going to call the specialist.
Call a specialist, exactly. So stay tuned, and we'll get into our regular video here. But I just wanted to introduce him. He's a great fella. Looking forward to some great things out of him and his channel, and we'll see it then. So you're probably wondering why I'm standing here next to what appears to be like a 70s vintage wall oven. I know my motto for the channel is you never know what we're going to be working on next. But I admit even this is a little bit of a stretch. So let's go back in time. I decided when we got the brand new Ford later model EFI exhaust manifolds I thought, you know what? I said, let's see if we can't get them coated with a high temperature paint or coating and make sure, you know, and hope for the best. I mean, worst that can happen is going to burn off. I mean, really, I mean, anytime we've ever done, we've ever put any kind of this high temperature paint, I don't care is what, this stuff here is like 2,000 degrees or whatever, and it just blisters off and burns off in like a minute. Well, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try, but I went online and did some research, and Rust-Oleum makes one that's good up to 2,000 degrees. And if you read the instructions here, and I never noticed this, you need to bake this stuff at 250 degrees for 30 minutes, then allow 30 minutes to cool down, then you bake it at your part at 400 degrees for 30 minutes, and then allow 30 minutes to cool. Now, they do, that's for if the parts are off the vehicle, and that's the best way to do it, they recommend. They tell you if it's on the vehicle, which is pretty much what any of us have ever done probably. It says you can run the vehicle, let's see, boy, this print's small. Run the vehicle 10 minutes, then allow 20 minutes to cool, run the vehicle for 20 minutes, then cool for 20 minutes, run the vehicle at normal operating conditions for 30 minutes, then allow the vehicle to cool. Now I've done that and it never worked. It just burned right off. But I'm gonna try this time to, since I bought these brand spanking new, so they've got no rust on them, and then I still sandblasted them just to be sure, and then cleaned them really, really good, and then used acetone and all that to make sure that these manifolds are just absolutely clean, and then shot them with the primer, followed the directions, allowed it to dry for so long or whatever, then before we put the paint coat on there. And and God bless my wife, because she's always such a good sport. We just in a recent video, we cooked the cam gear on the stove in the house, to expand it before we pressed it on the camshaft. But it does say on this that that will release some funky odors, and they're harmless, but at that point, Tammy was just like a hard nope. So I can't blame her. Cooking this stuff in the oven in there, and then everything you make afterwards tastes like paint. So I totally understand. So anyway, I went and looked on Facebook Marketplace, and I was thinking about maybe a little countertop oven, and I did find one, but the guy never called me back. And then I looked or messaged me back, and then I found this, which was a built-in oven, and it's a wall oven, so it's only 24 inches wide. Okay, so it's like really small, and in my opinion, because I'm a foodie and I cook, useless as an oven, because it's only 24 inches wide. It's too small to do anything with. But you got to remember, this thing was probably designed in the 70s or something. So I messaged the folks, and the lady wanted $50 for it. So, but it's down in south of Nashville in this real ritzy part of town, all McMansions and high dollar people and all this, that, and the other. And they were renovating this place, and I guess the place was built in the early 80s or mid 80s or something, and they pulled this out and they were selling it. Now, I gotta tell you, so a 24-inch wall oven that looks like something you would have seen on the Brady Bunch back in the 60s or 70s, you know, people aren't gonna be knocking this lady's door down for it. I mean, you know, it's just coincidence, in my opinion, that I just happen to need something like this, you know, because I'm gonna build it in under my workbench and hook it up, and boom, now I got an oven to heat parts with. I go down there and she messages me and says, oh, you know, when you get down there, just ring the doorbell. My husband will come out and help you. So I'm interacting with this guy. I'm looking at it, you know, they had it out front. And so it comes time, you know, he's telling me all of the little things that are broke on it and that don't work and all this, that, and the other. So I'm thinking, oh, this is great. You know, I'll get some money off of this, right? I mean, of course, it's only $50, but, you know, it's $50 for something. I mean, who's going to buy it? You know, and so I made him an offer, you know, and he's like, you know, his wife is, you know, said she's firm on $50, you know, and, you know, I drove an hour. I gave the guy $50, you know, but yeah, so my New Jersey negotiating skills failed me. Anyway, so we're gonna get this thing and mount it in under my workbench over here, and I'll show you when we get it all done. And also, I'm ready for the next PUBG tournament. Got my sacrificial skillet, so if I have to warm up a part in some oil or whatever and stick it in the oven, I can do that. And we'll be ready to rock and roll, so stay tuned. She's all built in there underneath my workbench, and we're going to relocate our bench grinder because it's not very good there. It vibrates too much. We're going to have to relocate that. But anyhow, now I can cure my parts in here and we'll be good to go. Hey, so our little manifolds are just baking away there. We're in the 250-degree first step of curing. So we've been pretty much just piddling because we're waiting on our custom push rods to arrive. I'm expecting them probably Wednesday if they manage to get here before Christmas. And the other thing I did was I went ahead and got the motor painted up real good, and my wife Tammy, she's the artsy one of the bunch, she went ahead and helped me out, and we went ahead and blocked out the letters on the valve cover for me. She can do that kind of stuff freehand. And we got our, you know, of course, all our components we sat and cleaned fastidiously before we put them back on the motor. So we're all good to go there. So now we're going to go ahead and bake our manifolds and cure that paint, and we'll see just how well it does when we fire that motor up to break that cam in, if it just arbitrarily burns all the paint off again. I'm really not too optimistic about it. I haven't seen, other than like a commercial ceramic coating or something that they can put on there, and even then, after a few years, they come off. But hey, I'm willing to give it a shot. So anywho, that's it for this short video here, and the next one, when I finally get my push rods, we'll go ahead and start all over on that degree in the cam thing, because I mean, I could do it with just doing it off the valve lifter, or but I really don't want to do that, because that really doesn't take into account any of the variables, you know, from the lifter through the push rod through the rocker arm. I always like measuring it right at the valve tip from the rocker arm. That way I know exactly what's happening. So that's how I'm going to do it. So sorry it's going to take a little bit, but we'll get to that in the next video. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, ring the little bell icon so you'll get notified the next time we post a video. And you can always, of course, email me directly at MacGyversWorkshop@gmail.com or visit my website at MacGyversWorkshop.net. And we'll talk to you later.